All right. So I want to welcome everybody uh, on this Shabbat evening. We are going to take a moment to get ourselves into a Shabbat space of mind and body and soul. So, whatever you need to do, whether you need to shake it out or stretch or do a neck roll, to move into a place where there's space in your heart or your soul or your mind for Shabbat peace and perhaps Shabbat joy. So we are going to begin on the screen. Let me share the prayer book to the screen. And this Shabbat is referred to as Repro Shabbat, the Shabbat of acknowledging reproductive rights and freedom. Let me mute all of y'all who are on Zoom. You can also mute yourselves, of course. And so we're going to begin with the blessing on the screen. God of our ancestors, Elohei Imotenu va'avotenu, we affirm that you have created each of us in your sacred image, endowed with the inherent right to dignity and autonomy. We ask that you guide us towards a caring and loving community and nation that reveres this dignity in each of us. We affirm that reproductive freedom, the sacred right to own the personhood of one's own body, is a fundamental part of the just society for which we strive in your name. We ask that you endow us with the strength and resolve we need because the path that lies ahead is challenging and we all need resilience, strength, and courage. We ask that you protect the most impacted and marginalized among us because it is they who are most at risk. We do this work in your name, O God, because we are the compassionate, loving creations of a compassionate, loving, and just God. It is holy, sacred work. May our country become a place of liberty and justice for all, and may our care for one another include care and respect for each other's right to good and affordable health care, including abortion care, and the right to live safely and securely as we each follow our path of conscience and the God we each do or do not believe in. And let us say, Amen.
Open my eyes to truth. Open my hands to give freely. Open my lips to good words, to pure words. Open my heart to love. Open my eyes to truth. Open my hands to give freely. Open my lips to good words, to pure words. Open my heart to love. Open my eyes to truth. Open my hands to give freely. Open my lips to good words, to pure words. Open my heart to love.
For the blessing over the candles, we turn to pages 120 and 121. And it's my pleasure to invite Janice to the Bima.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kedeshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'hadikner shel Shabbat.
Amen.
Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Amen. Thank you. We are turning now to the Kiddush on page 123, and it's my pleasure to invite Nathan to the Bima.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
It's up to you. What do you want to do?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kedeshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu b'shabbat kodsho v'yahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron l'maaseh v'reshit. Ki hu yom techila l'mikra kodesh zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim. Kivanu v'charta v'yotanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha v'yahava uvratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat.
Amen. Go ahead and drink. Yasha koach, and thank you. We turn to page 130 for Lechuna Ranana.
Ya die, 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 die. Ya die, 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 die. Ya die, 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 die. Ya die, ya die, die, die. Ya funera nena. Le Adonai. Oriha. Letzo yeshenu. Nekadima. Fanatikoda. Bispirot. Narialo. Nefunera nena. Le Adonai. Oriha. Letzo yeshenu.
Page 128 is Shabbat Hamalka, the Sabbath Queen.
The sun on the treetops no longer is seen. Come gather to welcome the Sabbath, our Queen. Behold her descending, the holy, the blessed, and with her the angels of peace and of rest. Draw near, and here abide. Draw near, O Sabbath bride. Peace also to you, you angels of peace.
The Baruch Hu for this evening is on page 264 in the blue bracketed numbers. If you're able, I invite you to rise. You may be seated. On page 265, I invite you to read with me in the English. Adonai, your majesty is proclaimed by the marvels of earth and sky. Sun, moon, and stars testify to your power and wisdom. Day follows day in endless succession, and the years vanish, but your sovereignty endures. Though all things pass, let not your glory depart from us. Help us to become co workers with you and endow our fleeting days with abiding worth. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Arabim. Page 266, I invite you to read responsively with me. In each age, we receive and transmit Torah. At each moment, we are addressed by the world. In each age, we are challenged by our ancient teaching. At each moment, we stand face to face with truth. In each age, we add our wisdom to that which has gone before. At each moment, the knowing heart is filled with wonder. In each age, the children of Torah become its builders and seek to set the world firm on a foundation of truth. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. The Shema is on page 267. If you're able, I invite you to rise.
Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kavod Malachuto Leolam Ha'ed.
You may be seated.
V'yavtahit Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha v'chol nafshecha ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וכשרתם לאות על ידך, והיו לי תותפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתיכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Adonai Elohechem Emet. On page 269, I invite you to read responsively with me. We worship the power that unites the universe, a promise of harmony for all. Yet that oneness eludes our grasp as imperfection and evil abound. Before our eyes, there is a vision of perfection, order, and goodness. There is evil enough to break the heart, and there is good enough to exalt the soul. When will redemption come? When we grant everyone what we claim for ourselves. Long ago, we escaped the tyranny of Egypt. Our people saw the power of the Most High. We learned God's presence redeems time and event, So we celebrate this power that makes for freedom. Page 270.
מלכותך רבניך בוקי היום לפני משה ומרים זה לי ענו ואמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד
Page 271.
השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום עמיתנו שומרנו לחיים השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום עמיתנו שומרנו לחיים ופרוס עלינו סוכות שמיה ותקננו מעץ הטובה מלפניה והושיענו למען שמך
We continue with Yismechu.
ישמחו ומלכותך שומרי שבת ישמחו ומלכותך בקורי עונג ישמחו ומלכותך שומרי שבת ישמחו ומלכותך בקורי עונג קודשי שביעית כולם ישמעו ויתענגו מטובך והשביעית רצית בו ישמחו ומלכותך שומרי שבת ישמחו ומלכותך בקורי עונג ישמחו ומלכותך בת ימים אותו קרתה זכר למעשה זכר למעשה בראשית ישמחו במלכותך שומרי שבת ישמחו במלכותך וקוראי עונג ישמחו במלכותך שומרי שבת ישמחו במלכותך וקוראי עונג.
The tefillah begins on page 273. If you're able, I invite you to rise.
Yalla lai 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 Adonai. Yalla lai 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 sfatai tiftach. Yalla lai 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 ufi yagid. Ufi yagid tehilatecha. Yalla lai 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 Adonai. Yalla lai 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 sfatai tiftach. Yalla lai 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 ufi yagid. Ufi yagid tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohi Avotinu v'Imotenu Elohi Avraham Elohi Yitzchak Elohi Yaakov Elohi Sarah Elohi Rivka Elohi Rachel Elohi Leah האל הגדול הגיבור והנורא אל עליון גומל החסדים הטובים וקונה הכל וזוכר הסתרות ואימהות ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה מלך עוזר ומושיע מגן ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני בחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם מכלכל חיים וחסד מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים סומך נופלים ורופא חולים ומתיר אסורים ומקיים אמונתו בשעיני עפר מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומידות מלך מלך ממית ומחיי ומצמיח ישועה ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל ברוך אתה אדוני בחיי הכל אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלע ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
You may be seated. page 277. You set aside the seventh day for your name, the pinnacle of creation, and you blessed it above all other days, more sacred than all festival times. So it is written in your Torah. Please join me. The heaven and the earth were finished and all their array. On the seventh day, God had completed the work that had been done, ceasing then on the seventh day from all the work that God had done. Then God blessed the seventh day and made it holy and ceased from all the creative work that God had chosen to do. Our God and God of our ancestors, be pleased with our rest. Sanctify us with your mitzvot and grant us a share in your Torah. Satisfy us with your goodness and gladden us with your salvation. Purify our hearts to serve you in truth. In your gracious love, Adonai, our God, grant as our heritage your holy Shabbat, that Israel, who sanctifies your name, may rest on it. Praise to you, Adonai, who sanctifies Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh ha-Shabbat. Ritzeh is on page 279.
Ritzei, Ritzei, Adonai Eloheinu be'amacha Yisrael, u'tefilatam be'ahava tikabel, tikabel, u'tehi ratzon tamid avodat Yisrael Eloheinu. Israel Anecha El Karon Lechol Oraf Enei El Avadecha Vecholenu Shefo Korochacha Aleinu ותחזינו אלינו בשובך לציון ברוח אוהבים. ותחזינו אלינו בשובך לציון ברוח אוהבים. Oh Lord, my God, hear my praise. Help me to know that you are close to me, and help me fear thee. Baruch atah Adonai, המחזיר שכינתו לציון. Amen.
We have come to Modim, our blessing of gratitude. And so I'd like to invite anyone who wishes to share something that you're feeling grateful for today. On Zoom, you can put it in the chat, but everyone can also share out loud. Janice. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Janice's third grandchild was born on Monday, 8 pounds, 15 ounces, a boy, and everybody is doing well. Yeah, yeah, sure. All right. Well, Mazal Tov to the whole family. That's really wonderful. Linda Kushner.
Oh, I'm grateful I don't sweat the small stuff anymore.
I'm into that. Not sweating the small stuff.
Mhm.
Excellent. Let's see. Patricia is grateful for going back home from the hospital. Susan Sisler is grateful for love and caring of family and friends. Charlotte Russell is grateful that her daughter Paula stopped anti-cancer medication after 5 years of treatment. Mazal tov for that. Karen is grateful for family, friends, and the temple, and also me. Thank you, Karen. Roseanne is grateful to again have internet service and the good telephone service substitute. Mazal tov for good internet service. Amen to that. Who else is grateful for something? Is that it? Okay. On page 281, I invite you to read with me. For the good in us which calls us to a better life, we give thanks. For the strength to improve the world with our hearts and our hands, we offer praise. For the desire in us which leads us to work for peace, we are grateful. For life and nature, harmony and being, beauty, for the hope of tomorrow, all praise to the source of being. For all these things, O sovereign, let your name be forever praised and blessed. O God, our Redeemer and Helper, let all who live affirm you and praise your name in truth. Blessed are you, Adonai. Your name is goodness, and you are worthy of thanksgiving. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'el lehodot. Our prayer for peace, Shalom Rav, is on page 282 in the blue bracketed numbers.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amaha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amaha Tasim Leolam. Ki Atah Melech Adon Lechol HaShalom. כי הטוב מלך אדום לכל השלום. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. לטוב בידך לברך את עמך ישראל לכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם.
Baruch atah Adonai, hamivarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom. We have come now to our quiet prayer. There are words in the prayer book on pages 283 to 285. There are words on the screen, but of course, we can always use the words in our own hearts. We continue quietly.
יהיו לארצו, אמרי פיו הגיון ליבי, לפניך, לפניך. אדוני צורי וגולי, אדוני צורי וגולי.
So we received the news yesterday that the youngest hostage and his brother, Kfir Bibas and Ariel Bibas, were killed in Gaza, and their bodies were returned to Israel yesterday. Another body was returned of one of the oldest hostages, who was 83 when he was taken. And a fourth body was returned that was supposed to be Shiri Bibas, the mother of the two boys, but the forensic scientists in Israel discovered that that was not her, and that indeed that body did not belong to any of the hostages, and they don't know whose body it is, and we don't know where Shiri Bibas is. And so, despite the fact that most people thought it couldn't be possible that the Bibas mother and children were still alive, although Yarden, the father, was returned alive last week. Finding out for sure that they're no longer with us is terribly sad, as are the deaths of so many people, Palestinians and Israelis, on October 7th and since October 7th, who were innocent. And so I thought I would share with you this evening Prayer of the Mothers. And this was written by Rabbi Tamar Elad Applebaum and Sheikha Ibtisam Mahamid, and translated by Rabbi Amichai Laulavi. God of life, who heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds, may it be your will to hear the prayer of mothers. For you did not create us to kill each other, nor to live in fear, anger, or hatred in your world, but rather you have created us so we can grant permission to one another to sanctify your name of life, your name of peace in this world. For these things I weep, my eye runs down with water for our children crying at nights, for parents holding their children with despair and darkness in their hearts, for a gate that is closing, and who will open it while day has not yet dawned. And with my tears and prayers, which I pray, and with the tears of all women who deeply feel the pain of these difficult days, I raise my hands to you. Please, God, have mercy on us. Hear our voice, that we shall not despair, that we shall see life in each other, that we shall have mercy for each other, that we shall have pity on each other, that we shall hope for each other, and we shall write our lives in the book of life. For your sake, God of life, let us choose life. For you are peace, your world is peace, and all that is yours is peace. And so shall be your will, and let us say, Amen. And we turn our thoughts to those among us and those in our hearts who are ill and who are in need of healing of body, of mind, or of spirit. Our Misha Berach in the prayer book is on page 371. Folks on Zoom, you're welcome to put names in the chat of who you are praying for healing for. And everyone will also have a chance to add names out loud. We hold in our thoughts and in our hearts for healing this evening Allison Plummer, Rabbi Dara Lerner, Susan Sisler, Barry Charles, Melissa Loomish, Jody Siegel Stein, Isaac Hockman, Lennon Safe, Joellen Fox, Sarah Bard Ratliff, Kenny Schweiger, Liza Nunes, Paul Gold, Gina Marie Cortez, Janet Schlesinger, Jonathan Falkowski, Martha Vincent, Ingrid Grosso, Eddie DeAngelis, Vicki Lightmaker, Nettie Trummer, Mia Gannon, Jeff Abel, Freya Kashmir, Delphine Wolf, Helene Smith, Liz Yasuda, Mark and Paul Steiner, Celia Karp, Aki Yasuda, Stephen Belay, Marion Mandel, Anne-Marie Rogan, Sharon Zinn, Nicole Moskowitz, Mike Wenzelberg, Patty Cohen, Jean Gaskin, Patricia Matthews, Joan Campo, Monica Bayer, Lisa Bachner, Peter Baker, Joanne Davis, Michael Dreswicki, Josh Klein, Norma Glick, Albert Rubowitz, Sarah West, Rebecca Rothstein, Celeste Cooperman. Augustine Davis, Damian Colon, Jennifer Magoom, John Holder, Della Holder, DeAndre Wynn, Joanna Marie, Elena Aram, Sarah West, Angela Davis, Fran Sisler, Stacy and David Mauser, Hannah Paines, Amy Balin, Judith Weiss, David Bernstein, Tracy Strumpf, Kay Bonani, Renee Bash, Marion and Harry Munns, Roberta Finelli, Leslie Sedlitz, Gina Becker, Harriet Holtzman, Batya Unger, Jonathan Dash, Eric Aronson, Joyce Aronson, Pat Flood, Kathy Sunby, Ben Bretner, Angela Napoli, Claude Smith, Martini Narcisse, and Eleanor Kelly. Freema?
Bill and Corinne Goldstein, Stephen and Arlene Schneier, Phyllis O'Neill, Alicia Serpi, Martin Bennett, Diana Gonzalez, Richard Kurlander, Richard Gordon, Ellie Ferry, Charlie DeRimos, Kathy's brother Gabby, Brian Freeland. Thank you.
Linda Kushner?
Jackson and Tara Kushner, Janice, Jamie Kaplan, David Gershon, Phyllis Benjamin, myself. Thank you.
Anyone else on Zoom? All right. If you're in the room and have names to add, I invite you to rise or raise your hand. Ruben? Tony? Janice? Luke? Alan? Also Jenny Grandos and Susan Atia. We include also all of those who are grieving from having lost loved ones or people that they cared about in the war between Israel and Hamas, including Ariel Bibas and Kfir. We include those also who have been wounded in that war and in other wars and conflicts, including in Ukraine, Afghanistan, Syria, Haiti, Sudan, and many other places. We include also those who have been hurt or lost their homes in recent natural disasters, including the fires in California and flooding as well in various places. Page 371 in the middle of the page.
Nisheberach Avotenu Kol habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Nisheberach imotenu mikol habracha bless those in need of healing with refuah Shema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Oh, hi. So there's a meme. There are lots of memes that show up on Facebook, but one of them, which I want to share with you this evening, looks like this. So I don't know how well you can see that. I'm going to describe it a little bit. Make it a little bigger. There we go. So there's 3 sets of 2 photos with words across them, captions. The first set is photos from the World War II era with the words on the left, the Holocaust was legal, and on the right, hiding Jews was criminalized. The second set is of enslaved African Americans with the words, slavery was legal and freeing slaves was criminalized. The third set is of African Americans from the Civil Rights Movement, and the words there are, segregation was legal and protesting racism was criminalized. The meme is not entirely accurate, and it's also not that elegant. I think the wording could be better, but the main points remain. The Holocaust, slavery in the United States, and segregation and oppression of African Americans in the United States were, in fact, all legal within their own contexts. It was a crime to hide Jews during the Holocaust. It was a crime to help escaped slaves, although it was legal to free them if you were the one who was their owner. And it was a crime to resist segregation through civil disobedience. The overall idea of the meme is that just because something is enshrined in law, that doesn't make it moral. Legal and moral are not the same thing. When a majority of people agree on something, that also doesn't necessarily make it moral. In an ideal world, the majority, the law, and morality would all align, but in the real world, it often doesn't work that way. Life is more complicated than that. I think that we can all agree that the Holocaust, slavery, and segregation are grave wrongs, especially in retrospect, hindsight being 2020 and all that. When we're in the thick of it, living our lives and trying to understand what's going on around us, it's often more complicated. Our Torah portion for this week, Mishpatim, is thick with laws. Indeed, the word Mishpatim means rules in English. There are 53 commandments given in this Torah portion alone, and it begins with slavery. Given our moral understanding of the evil that is slavery, we might expect that the Torah would outlaw it flat out. But as you know, that's not the case. The Torah doesn't explicitly say it's okay to enslave people. It just assumes that people do that. And it gives laws about how to treat slaves. And we might say that they order humane treatment of slaves, and some of them certainly seem to do that, but others, honestly, not so much. Now, I was trained in rabbinical school very clearly that we don't say the Torah is wrong. We try to explain the passages that seem unjust. We interpret them in ways to make them palatable. For example, when it comes to slavery, people tend to say that it was just the way of things. In the time of the Torah, it was very deeply ingrained in the society at that time, and it would be too much to try to make people give it up. It was too much of a norm in those societies. It is a difficulty, though, that the Torah isn't critical of the institution, especially because our sacred text was used by prominent members of the clergy, Christian and also Jewish, to justify slavery here in this country. As a general rule, it is important to me not to say that the Torah is wrong, but every now and then, like now, it seems important to say these laws that accept and perpetuate human beings owning other human beings as property are wrong. I mentioned at the beginning of the service that this Shabbat, when we read Mishpatim, has been designated by the National Council of Jewish Women to be the Shabbat when we honor and focus on reproductive rights. It's connected to Mishpatim because of a passage in the Torah portion. We read, when men fight and one of them pushes a pregnant woman and a miscarriage results, but no other damage ensues, the one responsible shall be fined according as the woman's husband may exact from him, the payment to be based on reckoning. But if other damage ensues, the penalty shall be life for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot, burn for burn, wound for wound, bruise for bruise. This is one of the primary texts that shows us how Judaism sees the status of a fetus. Because the penalty for the miscarriage is a fine, while damage done to the woman has much more serious consequences to the woman's body as opposed to the miscarriage itself, we derive that the fetus does not have the status of a full person. And this is an area where I don't think the Torah is wrong. Since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, 12 states have banned abortion completely. 6 states have banned abortion at early points in pregnancy, variously from 6 to 12 weeks. 4 states have banned abortion variously after 18 to 22 weeks gestation, and 19 states don't allow abortion after the fetus is at or near viability. It's easy these days to find news stories about the consequences these laws are already having for women. Doctors in states with abortion bans, even if there's an exception to save the woman's life, don't know where the law ends and their medical judgment begins. Fearing lawsuits or even criminal charges, OBGYNs are leaving those states, making it even harder for women there to get reproductive health care. And reproductive health care isn't just about the availability of abortion, of course. It's routine medical care of our reproductive systems, screening for cervical and other cancers, and birth control. Regardless of whether one believes that abortion is itself right or wrong, I know that I believe that decisions about pregnancy are usually complicated, and the law is too blunt an instrument to dictate what is to be done in each case. These decisions should be made by the pregnant person and their doctor, possibly including other members of the family or a partner if it is safe for the pregnant person to include them. I believe that many of the laws restricting and banning abortion are morally wrong based on Jewish values. The idea that we should be able to decide what happens to our bodies when it brings no danger to other people is also part of Jewish law. Rabbi Becky Silverstein, co-founder of the Trans Halakha Project, wrote in 2022, the discussion of who is permitted to eat on Yom Kippur, the Jewish Day of Atonement, has much relevant wisdom to offer. Most Jewish people observe Yom Kippur by incorporating prayer into a set of rituals that includes a 25-hour fast. But what happens if someone is ill and cannot fast on Yom Kippur? The Talmud invokes a verse from the biblical book of Proverbs, Lev Yodea Marat Nafsho. The heart knows the bitterness of its soul, to teach that the sick person is actually the expert who should make this decision. The text of the Talmud even says that nobody can possess more expertise on such a question than the sick person themselves. In this way, Judaism's principle of Lev Yodea Marat Nafsho authorizes as experts both pregnant people who want to end a pregnancy and trans people seeking gender affirming care or the right to live as their true selves. It demands that we honor the self knowledge of those individuals. I believe that we are in a time now when it is more important than ever to clarify our morals and values for ourselves and to be prepared to stand up for them in the face of actions that may be made legal, but that we see to be morally wrong and in violation of our values. May we be blessed with clarity of vision and strength to carry out what we know to be morally right. Amen and Shabbat Shalom. We are going to turn now to the Aleinu, beginning on page 586 at the bottom of the page. If you're able, I invite you to rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד ארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינה תוזר, ושכינה תוזר, בכל פני הוא אלוהינו מנעוד. אפס תורתו, הכרתו, תורתו, השפות כי אדוני אלוהים השמיים עמהם ועל הארץ מתחת עמו.
You may be seated. We turn our thoughts now to those who are no longer with us, our loved ones who have died in the past days and weeks and months, or in past years at this time of the year. I'm sharing our yahrzeit list for the coming week to the screen. Those of you who are here in person have the list in your blue bulletin. If you're on Zoom, you're welcome to put names in the chat if you're saying the mourner's Kaddish for anyone, and everyone will have a chance to add names out loud. We remember those who have died in the past year. Rose Kuros, Lyle Silversmith, Sandy Friedbaum, Philip Backner, Jacqueline Udelowitz, Ginny Fisher, Nita Steiner, Mildred Morell, Larry Arano, Jean Drucker, Isabel Teresa Caltabalata Frost, Robin Friedman, Dr. Carlos Humberto Salguero, Adam Michael Davis, Francine Benjamin, Sid Bansal, Deanna Roth, Judy Robbins, Marvin Bachman, Grace Schneider, Dr. Stephen Antipol, Lester Futternick, Kamal Burai, Warren Sorgan, Joan Marie Pandolfo Cortez, Janet Dankowitz, Victoria Ann Morell, and Harriet Laufer. Included on our yahrzeit list for the coming week are Patricia Abrahams, Alan Zaro's aunt, Joseph Burns, Patty Cohen's father. It's the first yahrzeit of Erwin Cohen, Patty Cohen's husband, William Figueroa, Diane Figueroa's brother-in-law, Corinne Grauer, Diane Schenker's friend, and Abraham Levitt, Roseanne Levitt's father. Also on the list is Lotta Bloom, who was a Holocaust survivor and a longtime member. Frima?
My friend Debbie Kelly, who was on the list, passed away on Tuesday.
So sorry.
So Debbie Kelly, Minnie Lenine, Jose Gonzalez, Barbara Wall.
Thank you. Anyone else on Zoom? Okay, if you're in the room and have names to add, please rise or raise your hand. Ruben? Ruth? Alan? Nathan? Thank you. And I'd like to also include Ariel and Kfir Bibas. Also, sorry, I'm not sure. Carol Doppelt, Mila Minich, Cindy Rabinowitz, Joel Keene, those killed in recent airline crashes as well. And we include those who have died in the many wars and conflicts around the world, and those who have died from other causes, whether in famine or terror or disaster, natural or human created, or alone and homeless on the streets of our cities. The Mourner's Kaddish is on page 598 in the blue bracketed numbers. And if you're able, I invite you to rise and join in or to participate according to your own custom. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, v'alma divra chiruteh v'yamlich malchuteh, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב יאמרו אמן. יהא שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא. ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו. לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דם ירן בעלמה ויאמרו אמן. יהא שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ויאמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ויאמרו אמן. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to the bereaved here among us and wherever they may be. And let us say, Amen. You may be seated.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. ויעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל.
A few announcements before we conclude. Tomorrow, there is no religious school because it's the end of the winter break for the kiddos. But at 10 o'clock, we will have Torah study of the weekly portion, Mishpatim. And Shabbat services are going to start 15 minutes early at 10:45 a.m. At the request of Ron Schweiger, Hazel Tishkoff, and Rita Landberg, who are having a luncheon, and they wanted a little extra time. So I said, sure, there's no religious school. I'll start services 15 minutes early. So we're going to do that 10:45. And then please join Ron, Hazel, and Rita for their birthday celebration lunch downstairs in the banquet room. Monday, gentle chair yoga and gentle qigong with meditation and Jewish wisdom is at 4 p.m. on Zoom with Doctors Gail Levine Fried and Bob Fried. Contact Gail if you're interested. And also on Monday from 7 to 8:30 p.m. is our first Purim Spiel rehearsal. So our Purim Spiel this year is going to be super fun. So please come to rehearse. There will also be rehearsals on March 5th and March 10th. We have a whopping 3 rehearsals before the Purim Spiel itself, which is on March 15th? No, 13th. March 13th, I'm pretty sure, the Thursday. So please come and be in the spiel because it's going to be super fun and it's has a theme of Dungeons and Dragons. And if you don't know what that is, that's fine. And if you do know what that is, maybe you all the more so want to be in the Purim Spiel. So come to the rehearsal. If you can't come to the one on Monday, just let me know you want to still be involved and we'll make it work. So Thursday, Torah study is with me at noon on Zoom. And choir practice is from 7 to 9 p.m. By the way, our Purim Spiel is not a musical this year. So this is your opportunity if you feel like you can't sing. But if you feel like you can sing, show up for choir on Thursday from 7 to 9 p.m. Tat Shabbat is on Friday at 10. And it's like we're basically into March. So next Friday night, February 28th, we're going to have a Torah service on Friday night during our service. And then on Saturday, March 1st, it's March 1st next Saturday. Yes, it is. And we're celebrating Rafa Or's Brit Mitzvah. So come celebrate with the Or family next Saturday morning. And then March 7th at 6 p.m., that's a Friday evening, we're going to have a chicken potluck in advance of our Shabbat Across America service. And that's going to be great and fun. RSVP for that so we know how much chicken to get. And then on March 9th, which is Sunday, Brotherhood is sponsoring a free CPR and AED training at 10 a.m. in the banquet room. Space is limited, so contact Jean Guskin if you want to come. Then on March 13th, I'm pretty sure it's March 13th, in the evening is our Megillah reading and Purim spiel. It's going to be awesome. And then on March 15th at 11 a.m., we have, well, actually, we'll have services at 10 a.m., an abbreviated service. And at 11 a.m., we'll have our family Megillah reading, raucous good time. And then following that will be the Purim Carnival for the kids. And then following that will be an escape room for the youth group. Big day, big day. And then you might as well save the date, Sunday, June 8th, for our gala luncheon, which this year is going to honor our very own Faye Guskin and Alan Zarrow, who is here. I think that's quite enough. Unless anybody has anything else. There's a tzedakah box on your way out of the sanctuary, or you can donate online and mark it as tzedakah. And we'll have the oneg across the way in the community room. Any other announcements? Okay, we are going to close with Ein Kelohenu, which is on page 626 in the blue bracketed numbers. If you're able, I'll invite you to rise.
Ein Kelohenu, Ein Kadonenu, Ein Kemalkeinu, Ein Kamoshienu, Ein Eloheinu, Ein Adonenu, Ein Kemalkeinu, Ein Kamoshienu, Odel Eloheinu, Odel Adonenu, Odel Eloheinu, Odel Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu. Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu.
Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
Yehi Ratzon.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha Shalom. May God bless you and keep you. May God's face shine on you and be gracious to you. May God lift God's face towards you and give you peace. Amen.
Amen.
And before we go over to the oneg, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom, everybody. Thank you for coming this evening. Have a wonderful evening.
Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom,
Thank you.
everyone.
Bye, honey.